Have you ever felt discouraged or thought or felt that the efforts that you were putting into something were not yielding any results at all? If you felt that way, you're not alone and you are in good company, because I have felt that way so many times. In today's video, I'm going to share with you 10 things that you can do to help you get over discouragement, identify the source of your discouragement, and get back on track with your goals. So if you want to hear more about that, keep watching. Step number 1 is make a list. Itemize it. Write it down. I don't know how else I can say this, but writing a list of the way you're feeling helps you really to isolate the feeling and identify the root cause of the feeling. Once you're able to isolate it and identify what the root cause is, you stand a better chance of coming up with a solution. Have you ever tried to solve a problem without identifying the root cause? You might actually end up going in circles and solving everything else other than the problem. And because you have not identified the root cause and solved the problem at the root cause, you know what? It will keep popping up. It will keep popping up. It will keep popping up. And you will keep solving everything else that is around the problem and not the actual problem itself. And so, writing down a list, making a list, and really thinking about the cause, the thing that is causing you to feel discouraged, and attacking it at the root cause will give you a better chance of coming up with solutions on how you can get over the discouragement. Tip number 2, ask for help. I know, it sounds so simple and so obvious, but what I have found is that if you're a person like me, you think, oh my gosh, I don't want to bother people, I don't want to burden people with my problems. But most of the time, the problem is we always think that our problem is bigger than what it is. Most of the time, once you shared a problem with somebody, as they say, a problem shared is half solved. Once you share a problem with somebody, they can give you an alternative perspective, which might actually shift the way you're looking at your discouragement, shift the way you're looking at a problem. I remember a couple weeks ago now, I watched a video of a young lady who was talking about her journey on YouTube. And she was talking about, making a lot of videos and sometimes not really seeing traction or not seeing as many views as you want. But she was now looking at it from the perspective of, oh, it's not that, I've not accomplished my goal, or I've not won, or I'm not developing or growing. I'm actually developing and growing in other areas. My confidence is increased, and there have been other opportunities that have come to me other than views or subscribers. So sometimes asking for help, talking about the problem with somebody else can enable you to see a different perspective and also appreciate that your problem might not actually be, or the source of your discouragement might not actually be as big as you think it is. And most of the time, or sometimes at least, when you talk to somebody, when you ask somebody for help, it will enable you to hear another person's story, because our journeys as humans, they're not as unique as we would like to think. So most probably, if you ask a person who is in the same field as you, or who's gone through the same experience as you, they might actually have a wealth of knowledge to share with you of their journey that will inspire you and help you get on track and actually recognize and realize that, maybe this is just part of the journey. A lot of people who've been through, or who are in the same industry or doing the same thing as me, they've actually been through this journey before. They actually went through a similar experience, and hearing their story of how they managed to overcome can actually motivate you. But better yet, it can just help you to recognize and to understand that your journey is not unique. You're not weird. It's not just happening to you. Most probably a lot more people have been through this, and it's just part of the process. So, step number 2, ask for help. Number 3, acknowledge your feelings. I think it is important to recognize that your feelings are valid. Your feelings of frustration, your feelings of discouragement, they are very valid. It doesn't help to suppress them or to just tell yourself to get over it and keep soldiering on. It is very important to acknowledge your feelings, to recognize that your feelings are valid. And again, going back to step number 1, to make a list of why you're feeling this way so that you can not only get an opportunity to process it, but also try and find a solution or a way to work through the discouragement. So, acknowledging your feelings is very, very important. Tip number 4, focus on the work and not the rewards. Now, this is really, really hard to do. This is really, really hard to do, and easier said than done, right? But most of the time, like when you embark on a project, when you start doing something, you are most of the time you're doing it because you know that you're gonna get good rewards. You have a goal that you're working towards, and it can be really discouraging to get to a space or be in a space and in a place where you're not hitting your targets, you're not getting to your goal, and you're working really hard, you're putting in a lot of effort, but that effort is not yielding any fruit. It is easy, very, very easy to feel discouraged. But as I alluded to earlier, sometimes shifting your perspective of the journey really helps. So focusing on the work and not necessarily the rewards. It's good to have a goal. It's good to work towards something. It's good to work towards a goal and have a timeline of the goal that you want to get to. We always talk, people, or at least people always talk about SMART goals, and that's really amiable and really good. But the nature of life sometimes is that, especially when you're starting out in an area or when you're starting out on a project, you're learning, you're growing, you're finding new ways of doing things, you're trying to figure things out. Sometimes you won't hit your goals in the first go, and sometimes life just happens and you don't hit your goals. And so in situations and circumstances like that, it's important to not only look at, okay, I haven't hit my targets, I haven't hit my goals, and so I failed and really feeling discouraged, but really looking at the journey and recognizing that even though you haven't gotten to your goal, even though you haven't hit your target, you have grown as a human being throughout this process. You have learned something new throughout this process. You have become a better person throughout this process. And so that in itself is a win. I remember the sound that trended for quite a while on Instagram. I think it was on Instagram and perhaps on TikTok, but I'm not on TikTok, so I wouldn't know. But I would see this sound almost every time, or on Reels, that said, a win is a win. A win is a win. So sometimes, that learning, that growing, that becoming better, that becoming faster is a win, and not necessarily the hitting the goals and the targets. And the ultimate reward that you were aiming for in the beginning. So, take the small wins. A win is a win, after all. Tip number 5, take a break. Sometimes when you've become really close to the work and you're focusing on it, you're doing it, and you're frustrated that things are not going your way, things are not going as you had hoped. It's easy to feel discouraged when you're close to the work. Sometimes it really helps to take a break, step away from the computer, walk away, go for a walk, do a lap around the block, and come back to it. Because sometimes, like, when your mind is so focused on the task at hand, it is much more difficult to get new ideas, to get inspiration, to think of creative ways of doing things. So sometimes just stepping away, taking a break can really help you refocus and rehone and really refresh your mind so that you can come back to it with a fresh perspective. Tip number 6, try something new. Try something new. Try something new. So similar to tip number 5, which was taking a break, try something new. They say that a change is as good as a break. So it's very in similar veins. Learning something new can help you come away from the problem at hand, focusing on the problem at hand, and applying yourself in a different way. And more importantly, sometimes like learning something new can indirectly help you to rethink how you were looking at the problem, or rethink how you were looking at your project or your vision or your situation. It can help you come back with a fresh perspective or a different way of doing things. So learn something new. It could be a good example. Well, maybe not a good example, but I remember reading somewhere that Steve Jobs did a bunch of different units at university, and some of them like seemed really random. Like he did a course on calligraphy, which like you would think like why would you do a course or a unit in calligraphy? But it actually ended up helping him when he was making a program, whatever, and he was introducing different fonts. On face value, you would think that's so random. Why would you do like a calligraphy course? But in retrospect, when you think about like his life journey now, you can see like how very pivotal learning that calligraphy was, because when he was now creating one of his programs, like he wanted people to be able to choose different fonts and stuff, and so that came in handy, right? And so sometimes I think you could learn random units or random courses, or you could try and find courses that are like directly linked to what you're doing and what you're trying to achieve. Either way, sometimes the most random things come together to create something beautiful. So I guess I'm saying all this to say, learn something new. Learning a new skill or trying a new project can help you feel motivated and inspired as well, because your mind's off of the thing that's discouraging you. You're applying yourself in a different way. So learn something new. The next tip is remember past victories. There is nothing that enables you to believe in yourself or make you realize that you are able to do this, that you are just the person to do this, that all the places that you will go, according to Dr. Swiss, you will be the winningest winner of them all. There is nothing that can help you, inspire you, and charge you up than remembering your past victories. Because after all, if you were able to do it before, if you were able to figure it out before, if you we're able to come out of and figure out things in a way that you never imagined possible last time, you can definitely do it this time, because after all, you're now a better person. You've grown a little bit more. You now have got more skills at your disposal and better technology. I mean, with ChatGPT or AI software, you could almost Google anything. So you are just the person to do this. You are able to do this. And so reflect on your past victories, and that will inspire you to know that you can do this and to get over discouragement. Next tip is get moving. Get moving. Get moving. Get moving. One thing that I found out was that actually doing working out or going for a walk actually helps your mind process things better, helps you refocus, helps re-energize you. And so just get out the house, walk, do something, do a sport of gardening or something like that. It will help your mind to process things better, and it will help you get over discouragement. Because I don't know what it is. I think your body releases some hormones when you're working out. Or when you're being active. So get out, be active, exercise, go out there and enjoy the sun. Do something like that. Yeah. So that's the tip. Get moving, get moving, get moving. Next tip is pray or meditate. Now, I can't even stress this one enough. There is just something about having a worship session or playing worship music and praying about stuff that will just help you out. I can't even describe it. I don't even know. But yes, pray or meditate. It will change your life. One verse a couple of verses that I absolutely love to think about is I can do all things through Christ Jesus who enables me. All things work together for good for those who love God, who are the called according to his purpose and according to his will. Prayer and meditation. I don't even know how I can stress this, or if I can stress it enough, but it will change your life. It will change your life. So that's the 9th tip. Tip number 10, talk to a counselor. If you feel that your feelings of feeling discouraged are persisting, consider talking to a therapist. Consider talking to an expert who will be able to give you some tools and resources on how you can not only process their emotions, but tools and tricks on how you can recognize the feeling or the source of the feeling, and things that you can do to help you move past that. I remember there was a time when I went to see a therapist, and my problem at the time was that I was always assuming the negative, or that, oh my gosh, people are gonna think this, they're gonna think this, they're gonna think this. And I remember, it was years ago now, but till this day, I can still remember the advice of the therapist. She said that every time you're having that negative thought and you've identified that you're having it, ask yourself, is it a fact or is it my opinion? If it's a fact, then, very valid, very, very valid. If it's your opinion, then maybe you need to rethink the thoughts, that it might not be very accurate because it doesn't have facts backing it. Yes. So if you're feeling discouraged and you find that your feelings of discouragement are persisting, please see a therapist, talk to somebody that can help you to process the feelings and come up with strategies and solutions on how you can get over it or how you can process it. So those are the 10 tips I had for you guys today. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. If you would like to support this channel, you can do so by checking out my new book, which I will display on the screen here, called For Such a Time as This. It is available on Amazon and Kindle in paperback and on Kindle. So you can order it there. I'll leave a link down below for you. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Don't forget to subscribe. Give this video a thumbs up if you'd like to see more content like this. Until next time, see ya.